Hello, my friends. Welcome to your full moon in Taurus reading. I'm Kristen, and this is In the Good. This reading is for all the signs, all the zodiacs, all the people everywhere, the collective. This is for you. So let's see what the full moon in Taurus is going to bring. What are the insights, reflections? What are we bringing into it? How are we moving forward with it? And here we go. We have the Loyal Heart card. So Taurus is such a sign of nurturance. It's a sign of decadence as much as it's a sign of stability and practicality. It enjoys being comfortable. It enjoys sensuality and finding that delicious, luxurious comfort in your everyday life and where you can bring that in. This is also about being loyal to yourself and what you need on a practical level. So this full moon is bringing you back to your center. I feel like there's two in this card, and it's part of it is the parts of yourself that perhaps you have forgotten or maybe lost because of certain relationships, whether they be personal or professional, and being loyal to yourself about how you really feel, how someone or something is really affecting you, and how that's making you present every single day, how you're manifesting in your life every single day, what you're manifesting and not manifesting because of it. Taurus is such a practical sign that's really all about bringing into physical reality your needs, wants, desires, and feeling luxurious, feeling the sensuality of life, something that's practical and very needed for all of us. It is something that's not to be forgotten. I'm noticing the 35, which is the 8, and to me comes across as the infinity symbol. So perhaps this is something, a sort of magic spell that you've been working in a very practical way. It's your heart's desire, it's your heart's content, but it's also a real part of what you're dreaming into reality, your passions, whether that be relationship, moving into a different aspect of your career. Maybe it's both. Maybe you want to manifest the entire life, the whole enchilada that you desire. What else? Supermoon in Taurus, so it's going to be big and bright. It's going to be full. I always think of supermoons, they're just so full. And it's perhaps coming into a deep realization of where you don't feel full in your life and where you need to feel more full. Perhaps it's about getting clear about what you really want and being able to voice it in a very clear and practical way. And that's not always easy. Somebody asks you, what do you want? What are you desiring? And sometimes our brain goes into 5 different directions and we feel we need to prioritize these different aspects of things. Like, well, I should really prioritize making money. And Taurus is a sign definitely associated with financial abundance. But it's financial abundance in order to feel comfortable, in order to have a life that makes you feel fulfilled. What's filling you up? What's not filling you up? So we have the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. Something is not over yet. Your dreams, desires, passions, goals, the things you're taking action over. If you don't have them or they haven't come into fruition this year, if they don't feel like you've manifested physically what you've been wanting to manifest, it's not over for you. The chapter is not closed. Or perhaps a chapter is closed in how you were trying to pursue it. And what this full moon is asking you to do is maybe to try a different way, to see things a little bit differently in a different perspective. Maybe it's looking at the people in your life that you're trying to bring into your life, to see people differently, to go beyond maybe some of the surface levels that you've been looking at things and go a little bit deeper, maybe try something new, maybe not be so judgmental. And I don't mean judgmental in a negative. I mean, sometimes we have judgments on things In order to keep ourselves in check, we have a judgment to be clear about what we don't want, but then it can spiral out to the point where it's like from a certain sort of dissatisfaction. That dissatisfaction can then come across like bringing a negative meaning making into everything. And so you're not done yet. You're not done yet. You can still have that relationship. You can have that career. You can have that home life. That's very satisfying, where you have your heart's content, your heart's desire. And you're not alone. This is not a card of being alone. And again, it's coming to that reconciliation with yourself so that you truly have yourself on your side, right? You're on your side. And really from that, and from that clarity of what you want, perhaps having to sit down. I have a friend who loves journaling and it helps her get so clear. But whatever it is, maybe you could just be contemplating, taking a moment to really consider what you want. Even just that can be helpful. Even just asking the certain question, what do I want now? And maybe having some recognition that maybe you want a relationship, but you want something different than you have before. And perhaps that's where some of the judgment comes in. It's like, wait a second, I've changed my mind about what I want. Maybe I don't need to see that person that way. Maybe go have a cup of coffee with them. Maybe, get to know them a little bit. Maybe don't look at what the story is telling you. Dig deeper into, it's about inferencing. What do these things really mean on a deeper level? And it's about maybe asking other people about themselves. You might be surprised at the depth that's there. That's not what you see. Sometimes people present a certain way and then you get to know them and you're like, there's this whole other parts to who they are. And the Four of Pentacles in reverse, this is letting go of what's been hurting your heart. There comes a time where it's not about going into the dissension, constantly descending into that healing process and going down deep in the shedding of the snake. At some point, you have to let the old skin go. Maybe it's shed, but it's still resting on the surface of your skin. It really is about twisting and turning, shaking things up, and really letting that skin just peel off and letting it just slip and slither off into the next phase. But we keep our hearts safe for a reason. And then sometimes we integrate constantly keeping our hearts safe. And there's a certain amount of vulnerability that comes with trying something new. Getting into our heart's desires, sometimes it means a certain amount of being a little bit vulnerable and walking off into an unknown place. It's not done yet, but it's also, you're not going to do it the same way that you were before. So let go a little bit. Release. You're safe. You've got the wisdom, the knowledge, the life experience. You've been through things. You've registered it all. You filed it. You have to trust that in an embodied way, you know what is safe and what is not in all of your environments and all of your relationships. And there's a certain amount of discomfort that comes with change and getting to where you want to go. That things really do, there has to be a falling apart that can be very challenging in order for things to make room for what you do want. But there has to be an acceptance that phase can be over. The old skin is off. And that you're okay to move on. And though there may be tenderness, there may be vulnerability, there may be, I have no idea. This person that's asking me out is asking me out in a different kind of way. And I really wanted to go on this kind of date. And they're wanting to do this instead. Or this job opportunity that's being offered to me it's coming across in a different kind of way, in a different kind of field. And I'm an accountant, but I'm being offered a job for a nonprofit as opposed to corporate. What would that look like? How would that rest inside of you? And the sun. So things are being illuminated. You want to expand up again after a lot of hard, deep work where you have descended into and excavated out, gone in there, looked at the ugly stuff. You confronted it, perhaps. You confronted someone, perhaps. You had the hard talks with yourself. And at some point, when you're sitting amongst the ashes of what was, you have to root down. And that seed that needs the sun to expand up, it's the nurturance of the sun, that is being which illuminated. The time of expansion. And it could even be just acknowledging it. It's time to expand and just having that observation around it, that self-awareness of, no, I'm rooting and I'm growing up. There could have been a lot of stuff that really happened during the summer, during the Leo time. That could have been very deep for you. And it's really coming into a fruition now. Whatever event could have happened. This also can be a Leo in your life, or a Leo-esque person in your life coming forward, kind of giving you a new perspective, or knocking you off your orbit, your regular orbit, and making you feel a little bit disheveled. But at the same time, there's excitement, and often anxiety and excitement are of the same energy. So maybe it's like, okay, I feel anxious, but are you anxious because there's an excitement there? There's an excitement in the unknown, because it could be leading you into something that is really more on the path of where your heart's desire is. That's where you want to be. And the Five of Pentacles in reverse is really coming out of that time of feeling lonely, feeling perhaps there's been some financial disappointment, some financial ups and downs, some financial unknowns, perhaps want to recreate where your finances come from and having to sort of baby step that. This card is also about the recognition that there is help around you. And perhaps it's something that, looks a little bit different. So it's sort of like make room for the happy. Make room to let in a more positive perspective, regardless of how difficult you might have felt. There has been help around you. And maybe, you still had to go through stuff, but, you had external resources. You have external resources, and maybe you don't want to go to them. Maybe you don't want to go to those people and ask for help. Like perhaps it's parents. Perhaps it's an ex-partner. But in this particular case, and what I'm picking up is that these people would actually be really happy to help when they would understand. And I'm not saying that you need to go to them and ask, but I think just even the recognition, that's a good place to go. Like you're in the good there. It's a safe place to go. Just because relationships, regardless who they're with, aren't perfect and maybe didn't work out the way that you wanted, doesn't mean that those people aren't still resources for you. So don't drop that. One more. And this is the Eight of Cups. So this is perfect. I mean, here is that beautiful full moon in the background that you're walking towards. You're walking towards trusting your intuition and your gut. And knowing that, again, the brain is functioning on its own. You have the knowledge, you have the wisdom, you have the skills. The talents are there. And sometimes it's necessary to acknowledge what you've built. Take what is necessary for the next phase and leave the rest, and trust that there's going to be the Ten of Cups that you're walking towards. Total emotional satisfaction and not compromising. And letting, I'm okay being alone. I'm okay being single. Yeah, you are. Of course you are. You're a sovereign being. You take care of yourself. You're good. But you're allowed to want what you've been fantasizing about. There's also the possibility of reality in there. And that's part of what fantasies do for us is they help us sometimes recreate a new story. Your head's in there. You're not like flying off into disassociation. You're just having an embodied feeling of what will really feel good for you. And perhaps it looks different than it has in the past. And that's a really, really, really good thing. I'm going to leave it at that. Have a wonderful full moon. Don't forget to make a wish. I'm Kristen. I hope that you will join the community. I would love to connect with you more. Please give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this. Please let me know in the comments below what resonated with you, what you want to share, what kind of readings you'd like to hear from me. I also do meditations on the channel, all different kinds of meditations, a lot connecting with nature, some just helping you kind of be with yourself and breathe. So please check them out and let me know what kind of meditations you would like for me to create for you here as well. And I will see you on the next one. Bye.